Hey everyone, this is Carrie Champion, the host of Naked Sports.
The all-new 2025 Nissan Armada Pro 4X provides freedom. Freedom to explore, to go wherever you want, with your whole crew and all your toys. With a twin-turbo V6 engine, 8,500 pounds of towing capacity, and seating for 8, this unshakable fortress of a vehicle is built to take you on your next adventure. Drive the all-new 2025 Nissan Armada today. Learn more at nissanusa.com. Intelligent four-wheel drive cannot prevent collisions or provide enhanced traction in all conditions. Always monitor traffic and weather conditions.
At Arizona State University, we've made online education better, smarter, and more personalized so you can go further in your aspiring field.
I decided to pursue medicine once I realized that ASU did have the online program for biological sciences. You're still required to learn the same curriculum. You're still being tested on the same content that anyone would be tested on in person. The comprehensiveness of the program prepared me so well for medical school.
Explore over 350 plus programs at asuonline.asu.edu.
Caloroga Shark Media.
Hey there, I'm Johnny Mac with 5 good news stories. In Texas, a man was left in tears after a stranger paid for his family's breakfast and wrote a message on the receipt. Yeah, dad's out with his wife and 3 kids. They're at Mimi's Cafe. They were getting ready to pay. The waitress said the $85 bill had already been settled. She handed him the receipt. There was a handwritten note on the bill which said, "Thank you for being a great dad." He flipped the receipt over. It read, "From a dad to dad. Thank you for being the dad they need you to be, regardless of who's watching. We need more men like you. Thank you for letting us all see your love for them all." It was signed from a retired Army medic. Dad said, "I couldn't control my tears. There was nobody watching for my reaction. The person was already gone. It was just pure kindness." The dad, who had been wearing his hospital scrubs, had been playing a simple dot game with the kids at the table, had no idea somebody was watching. Dad said, "I see some of the most terrible things in the world at work. But this reminded me that complete strangers can do miraculous, beautiful things when you least expect it." It was just $85 to them, but to me it was so much more. These random acts of kindness are so powerful. They remind us that despite all the bad in the world, there's so much good too. Boy, that is awesome. I love that story. A woman made a creepy discovery. She looked under the floorboards of her 50-year-old house. That doesn't sound like a good idea. Amelia uploaded a video to TikTok detailing her eerie discovery. She said, "I noticed there was nothing holding this floorboard down, so when you walk on it, it rattles a lot." Her curiosity led her to pry up the board to see if she could fix it. Instead, she found a hidden object in the debris. One of the items, an Edward VII 1904 penny. Then she found a gold-colored book. It was filthy. She wondered, how long do you think it's been there? It's definitely a book, but they're not actual pages. They're really thick. I found other things, like old nails and old paper. I'm tempted to look and see if I can find anything else. I'm left with so many questions, like why was this hidden there in the first place? She did a follow-up video, because this is TikTok, and this was going viral, and it's kind of fun. She said, "It seemed like a normal book at the start, filled with old portraits, but things took a creepy turn as I went further into the book." She was shocked. She found an old photo of her house, followed by images of empty rooms with a dark shadow present in each one. She said, "I can't help but think what else is buried under the floorboards." One TikTok user said, "What if by opening the book, you've released what was being held in the photos?" Another person said, "It's a vintage postage book. I have one with some incredible dates and pictures." That's fun. I love doing this show. All right, nice job by the California Technical Institute. They have developed a new class of matter. Yeah, you can't just do that on any old Tuesday. A new class of matter. The materials are called, I'm going to get this wrong, polycatenated architectural materials. No, I think I got that right. PAMs, PAMs. When they're compressed, they act like hard crystalline latticework, like a solid, but when they're subjected to shear force or lateral force, they behave like a Newtonian liquid. Or more specifically, like a grain of rice or a grain of sand, reorganizing their structure to accommodate the motion. Chiara is the lab director and said, "We all have a clear distinction in mind when we think of solid materials and granular matter. With PAMs, the individual particles are linked as they are in crystalline structures, and yet, because these particles are free to move relative to one another, they flow. They slide on top of each other, and they change their relative positions more like grains of sand." What do you do with all this? The scientists like the potential. It could be for soft robotics, biomedical tech, and protective gear. All right, we'll keep an eye on that. Meanwhile, NASA scientists back in 2018 sent a mission to the near-Earth asteroid Benu to collect pristine samples. It turns out there have never been more ingredients for life identified in a single extraterrestrial material of any kind. Benu carried all 5 DNA and RNA nucleobases and a ton of amino acids. The sample showed 14 of the 20 amino acids contained in life on Earth, including all 9 of the essential amino acids, blended in, quote, interesting ways. Benu's parent asteroid seems to have been home to pockets of liquid water. Benu was also found to be rich in nitrogen and ammonia-bearing compounds, and the new findings indicate that water evaporated and left behind brines that resemble salty crusts of dry lake beds on Earth. What does it mean? It's unclear right now, but it's pretty cool.
What if everything you've been taught about happiness is wrong? We chase careers, approval, more stuff, hoping it'll finally make us feel fulfilled, but it never sticks. What if happiness isn't out there, but already inside you, just waiting to be unlocked? Discover the book, The Happiness Experiment. Every person has a unique happiness type, and when you understand yours, everything shifts. You'll stop chasing and start creating joy on your own terms. Discover your happiness type with a free happiness type assessment. Go to myhappinnesstype.com. That's myhappinnesstype.com. It takes just a minute and it might change your life. Then grab your copy of The Happiness Experiment at Books A Million. This isn't just a book, it's a practical framework, a journey inward. It's a tool to help you reconnect with the happiness that's been waiting inside you all along. Pick up The Happiness Experiment and start your happiness experiment today.
At Arizona State University, we're bringing world-class education from our globally acclaimed faculty to you. Earn your degree from the nation's most innovative university. Online. That's a degree better. Learn more at asuonline.asu.edu.
You're great at protecting your own personal information. You probably even use things like two-factor authentication, strong passwords, and a VPN. But as much as you try to be in control of how your information is protected, there are lots of places that also have it, and they might not be as careful as you are. That's why LifeLock monitors millions of data points every second for identity threats. If your identity is stolen, a LifeLock US-based restoration specialist will help solve identity theft issues on your behalf, guaranteed or your money back. Plus, all LifeLock plans are backed by the $1 Million Protection Package, meaning LifeLock will reimburse you up to the limits of your plan if you lose money due to identity theft. You might not be able to control how others handle your personal information, but you can help protect it with LifeLock. Save up to 40% your first year. Call 1-800-LifeLock and use promo code IHEART or go to lifelock.com/iHeart for 40% off. Terms apply.
Boy, the scientists are at it this episode. Cats are wearing hats for science. Scientists are trying to use brain scans to understand pain in arthritic felines and how to help the cats. Scientists wanted to create a non-invasive method to study cat brains. In previous studies, the cats would shake the hat off and chew the wires. The answer was to incorporate sensors into comfy crocheted beanies. Professor Castell said, "We have the idea of little knitted hats that would keep the electrodes in place. They're working to see if different stimulations would, like in people, help modulate the cat brain activity." The report concludes this opens new avenues for investigating chronic pain mechanisms and developing novel therapeutic strategies. And those are your 5 good news stories today. Little sciencey. No Guinness records. No lost pets. No message in a bottle. Trying to mix it up for you. If you enjoy the program, please tell a friend about it. They might like it too. If you would like the program without interruption, no commercials, no feed drops, none of that stuff, go to caloroga.com/plus, link in the show notes, or if you're on Apple Podcasts, click that banner that says Uninterrupted Listening, and they'll take it from there. All right, you have an awesome day.
From Caloroga Shark Media comes Celebrity Trials, the explosive new podcast that exposes the truth behind America's most captivating cases. I'm Reed Carter, and I'll take you inside real live daily trials and classic celebrity cases where fame, power, and justice collide. From Jeffrey Epstein's billion-dollar sex trafficking empire to the prep school killer who walked free, from family annihilators to celebrity plea deals. Discover the shocking verdicts, twisted evidence, and cultural forces that shape American justice. These aren't just crimes. They're cultural moments that reveal who we really are. Justice isn't always swift, but it's absolutely riveting. Celebrity Trials. Available wherever you get your podcasts.
Welcome to Alligator Alcatraz, a new podcast from Caloroga Shark Media. They built a detention center in the Florida Everglades to separate families and break spirits. Surrounded it with alligators, figured that'd be the end of it. What they didn't count on was Tommy Esperanza, a quiet maintenance worker who turned their bureaucratic nightmare into something extraordinary. While corrupt politicians profited from human suffering and incompetent officials created disasters with PowerPoint presentations, Tommy built an underground network that reunited families, exposed massive fraud, and brought down a congressman. Where the gators were smarter than the guards, families fought back against systematic cruelty, and one man proved that wisdom beats authority every single time. Alligator Alcatraz, available wherever you get your podcasts.